I'm going to begin. But where do you begin? Where is the center of the sphere? All right. Mercury station direct a few days ago. Sun is 2 or 3 degrees Leo now, squaring Chiron's nodal axis. Saturn is going retrograde later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Stationed retrograde right now. Sun, Jupiter's coming out of the opposition with Pluto. Chiron is at 0. The nodal axis is currently 0 degrees Pisces, Virgo, North Node in Pisces, Neptune, 4 degrees of Aries, in that 4-degree sextile mashup with the other outer planets, Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini, Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius. What does all that mean, you know? These are just symbols, symbolic language. Shit's happening. If you stand outside the storm, you see the insanities, you know. I used to go to concerts and I just watch the mosh pit. I could see the different swirls, you know. Throughout the evening, they would slowly collide, going through the horde of humanity, just doing their own slam dance, you know. It's just, this is a gene swarm, a psychic gene swarm, the cataclysm of consciousness, call to personality, where we realize the death of absolution and we ROI. We get the last squeeze out of every bit of truth we can. We got to carry that dead animal to the top of the mountain so it can become a sacred symbol for change. These are children of the polis circumambulating around this chaos, this corruption. You know, I mean, you see it in the mythologies, in the movies. You know, grandma's going a little crazy. We got to bring her to the nut house now. The neighbor down the street went a little crazy. Now it's killing all the neighborhood animals. You know, Hansel and Gretel, the little crazy old lady in the woods, you know, she's starting to eat kids, so we got to watch her. The polis is Saturn at a lower expression. These are the children of egregores. These are different aspects of psyche. We're coming from a very old culture in the, I guess now it's hip and very woke to call it colonialism, but it's these fad psychological pop intellectual bullshit like taglines are tragically comic. These energies don't begin and end with the limit of your conception. They aren't limited to just your understanding. This culture is ancient. You know, once it reaches its maturation, it goes insane. It starts to devolve, to cannibalize itself. That's the Wentico. That's what we're learning, we're individuating through, because you're either going to consume yourself or another person for your beliefs, or you're going to step away from the shit show and say, that's insanity. That slam dance doesn't look too good for the old brain, so I'm going to just stand back here and let it continue. And I'll enjoy the music from a distance. You know, I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was a beautiful place. I mean, wherever you come from, there's good and bad. You know, as I've gone back to visit the old neighborhood and walk around, I just noticed the programs rising. You know, the closer you are to the city center, the deeper into the eye of Sauron you become, the more shadow projection possessed by propagandic protocols you become. You are essentially an automaton for the shadow. There's so much righteous valor in the hearts of the absent-minded. You know, it's a hijack. You see all this political and ecological and cultural movement signs all over the place, and people don't realize that these are the lowest common denominator outcomes of what it is to be human, what it is to be alive, to be a creative spirit embodied. You know, you give away your agency for the cube, the victim, tyrant, martyr, savior, and then you feel satisfied, like you're doing your part for society, for culture. And you are, but the culture is a limit. It's a teacher. It's not a friend. Okay, so change comes to the world, comes to you. It either forces you or informs you, forms you or informs you. For many, it will be a force. Now you see there are a lot of different ideologies, different people speaking from history about these times. I do feel the Steiner perspectives are very relevant to these times. The Ahrimanic frequencies are here. They've been here since the Industrial Revolution began, since Uranus was discovered. But I mean, everything's always here. How far into the future or the past are you tuned? You're not going to get very far if your tuning is through the cultural program of today. You can't see past the static. You need one of those pirate boxes. You need to disconnect from the dis-ease of the program and get back into nature. Get back in sync with the slowest static of all, which is just natural movement, motion, time. Resonance to the cosmos, the closest you can get physically. Just feet on the dirt in relation to things that aren't trying to prove anything to you. So going back through the old neighborhood, I began to realize how possessed people were. The closer to the city center you become, the more signs, the more virtuistic whoremongering you see amongst your fellow humans. The further away you get, the more into the country you get, people become more primal. Survival becomes more of a distinction. These people are easily or more easily hijacked through survival-oriented means. They're more apt for war, but they're also more reasonable because they know that the truth is in what's here now. It's not about what's in the mind. It's what you can feel, what you can hold. That's of value. You know, and a lot of people, they think it's the religion or the culture or the blood, but really it's deeper than that. It's within the spirit of creation. But I feel if you are stuck in the city, you got to get to the country And if you are stuck in the country, you got to get to yourself. You got to find out what programs are affecting you, who's for you, who's against you, and most people aren't going to know it. If they're for you, then they're for sovereignty, they're for creation, they're for individuality. They know the value of coming together and the value of community and unity through diversity, not through becoming a monoculture death cult. These changing times put us in the cult of personalities. These personalities exhaust the trauma loop convictions of the cube, the polis, of the ancestors. We're here to transmute that, transform it, transcend it. We're all at different layers, different rungs of the ladder here. There's no hierarchy to the individual life. It's just where are you tuned. There's physical, metaphysical. Imagine a metaphysical door, and there's a fire in the fucking the insane asylum, and you're trying to get out. Only a certain amount of people can get out this door. It's up to you, unfortunately. You're going to have to either say, no, I'm not worth it. You go ahead, and then watch them falter somehow. We say, you know what? I can't help anyone unless I help myself. So I got to get to this effing door. I got to get out of this place. That's where we're at. If you want to, the old adage, be the change you want to see in the world. It doesn't mean that you stand upon a movement of righteous conviction. You bring the karma to the bad people. You get to the center of your own creative self and say, I got to honor this before I can honor anything else truly. Otherwise, I'm replicating. So be the change for yourself. Bring that to the world. And it isn't easy to do, but if it was easy, why would we be here? Very few people have it comfortable. But comfort is only known through the struggle, so it's good to have the oscillation of perspective so that you can hold the sacredness of the feeling. So get to the self. What's the program in you? The mind's hijacked, corrupts the heart because the heart has no expression. You got to get to the heart so you can express what's true and then bring that to the mind and burn through all the bullshit. All the spiritual practices, meditation and all that. Don't do it for cities, for power, for static convictions of external gain or what other people have put in place as a hierarchical metrical value system. Create your own system. Figure out your own methods. Combine ideas. Just get into nature. Let that be your, the earth is a bigger antenna than us. Connect to that, use that as an adjunct to you. Energize, supercharge your body through this earth, through nature. Get in tune with the Auronic hymns. Figure out what the change is from within. Create from within and go out. The bills and the beliefs and the taxes and all this other red tape bullshit will be here a little while. But this world is changing. That stuff ain't gonna matter in a few years. So you got to figure out what matters now, so that you don't got to be on the receiving end of finding out what matters when the time comes. All right, so we're heading into full moon in Aquarius here. the heart of all creation. You're not going to find it in the replication of the Capricorn system. Yeah, it's hidden in the legacy as the purity of creation that we hand up from the ancestors, but it's not diminishing your life, yourself for the past. You know, a good parent doesn't want their child to be less than them. You know, God didn't create us so that we could be slaves. Be a God. Be ignorant. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. So make your mistakes wise by living from the heart, not from the mind. Good luck.